KX News is excited to bring back a timeless weekly segment that dates back to the 1990s with reporters you might remember like Carla Burbidge and Debbie Keene, and as recent as 2019 with our very own Tim Olson. Now the torch has been handed to me, and every Thursday night here on KX News at 9, I introduce you to someone you should know. We start this week with Jake Thrailkill.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there.
But, of course, he did see me there. It's clear that Jake Thrailkill has a sense of humor.
Oil prices have plummeted, which is bad news for North Dakota, but good news for me. I can now buy a barrel of oil for the same price as a case of Old Milwaukee.
And if you recognize him, this could be why. As the host of Good Night Live, he may not be Kimmel or Fallon, but he sure is trying. And that's what counts, right?
I just decided to start a show and put my name on it and convince a few people to hop on the boat. So there is some of that assumed self-importance that I think is hilarious. I don't really consider myself that important.
We lost two legendary Minot institutions this month. Video Magic. Don't all of you act like you've been running out the rent and Die Hard every weekend or something.
There is no feeling like being on stage, having hundreds of people staring at you, and then saying something and having to wait to say anything else because everyone's laughing.
But there's a lot more to the 27-year-old than standing on stage and poking fun for a few laughs. He's a UND graduate.
I was, able to cram a 4-year degree in like 5 years, I think. So.
He's in the Minot Lions Club, board president of the Minot Public School Foundation, preaches as a member of the Bethany Lutheran Church Pulpit Supply Ministry, and having spent 8 years in the North Dakota National Guard, some of which was during the 2011 flood, he has a real understanding and appreciation of what our guardsmen do every day, especially today.
When I see them doing things that I'm not able to help with, I'm almost a little bit jealous. But a big part of it is, these people are taking time away from their family and their obligations to do these things to help keep us in a safer place.
Aside from that, he's a financial advisor, which in its own way is a form of helping people, something that means a lot to Jake.
It's a real adrenaline rush to see somebody get on the path to success.
Jake's super fun. He's passionate about a lot of different things, which I really admire about him.
His colleague has a good point. He's even passionate enough about this coffee mug to take up a role at Minot State University as an instructor of ballroom dance.
I was thinking, would I use this since I went to University of North Dakota, the premier, college in the Midwest, or as we like to call it, the Harvard of the Midwest. Then I thought, wow, what am I going to do with this mug? And then Dr. Ekman asked me to do some teaching there and with her, and it's been excellent.
So why do all of these things? Fill his days start to finish with work, meetings, classes, shows, and more.
I have a terrible anxiety about missing out or not doing something that I think should be done, and I just challenge everybody to get out and do that and to learn along the way.
And when it really comes down to it, how would you honestly describe yourself?
I would say, tall, lanky, kind of goofy looking for starters, but I think that integrity is extremely important, and that's what I strive for first, is to be honest and then just to do the right thing.
So we'll leave it at that. Integrity is one reason why Jake Thrailkill is someone you should know. So I asked Jake what he thinks about when it comes to the future, having done so many things already. And he says he wants to amplify the services he does at work, in community groups, at church, and beyond, in a way that helps more people essentially do more service. So if you'd